Oh, one other side note, unrelated to filming locations, I wanted to lump in here as well, just to get it out of the way that we learned this early on. They changed the production code name for House of the Dragon, starting with Season 3. You know, like how in Star Wars, Return of the Jedi was codenamed Blue Harvest? This is important because you think, oh, this is trivia. When the fan spies are trying to figure things out by going over spy photos with production labels or searching through online listings of logistics and orders for hints about this person was cast by Crossroads Productions in Red Gun, we know that really means House of the Dragon. So it's useful to know what the production code name is if you're hunting down things like that. Well, House of the Dragon Season 1 was codenamed Red Gun. We think in reference to that sci-fi western show with the magic revolver guns. It was a comic book adaptation that Ryan Condal filmed a pilot for, but that didn't get picked up. It's a weird pilot. I mean, we see photos of it. Pedro Pascal was in it, but didn't get picked up. It would have been interesting. Anyway, Season 2 was just named Red Gun 2. So we assumed they'd always be Red Gun through all 4 or 5 seasons or whatever. But the set spies from the recent filming have reported back to us that on the labels and scripts and everything they see, and just labels on a truck or whatever, it's used throughout the base camp. They report that the code name has changed entirely for Season 3. The new production name is Huckleberry. Now, I think they picked it at random because this sounds random, which is really the point of a code name. Like, this is the government lab where we're breeding vampires to use in war, don't name it Operation Bloodfang. Name it Operation Gray Box or something. The entire point of a secret code name is doesn't reflect what the thing is. Not some awesome, but cool name, super name. So, it was Red Gun, now it's Huckleberry. I don't know why. Maybe because they knew we were onto them. I don't know. It's not like it's a complete mystery. You can look it up in their logistics. We don't know what all of the production code names were for Game of Thrones because, like this, we think they changed every season or two to a different production code name. So I don't know what the production code name was for each of the 8 seasons, but we did find out what the Season 8 production code name was, that Sophie Turner mentioned it in passing in an interview. Production code name for Season 8 was Face of Angels. Which, yeah, the entire point is choose a random name that people can't guess what it is. If you said Dances with Direwolves or something, people could guess it was a Westeros show. So Face of Angels, yeah, it's meant to be a nondescriptive, randomly chosen name. Point is, knowing that it's called Huckleberry is useful for when we're looking through cast listings or filming schedules for Huckleberry has rented filming in this certain field today. We know that's really House of the Dragon. I kind of wonder what the production code names will be for future spin-offs down the line. I mean, the future of a couple of years from now, the next wave of things, like Targaryen Conquest or Nymeria, which are currently being written and pitched. We actually do know what the production code name is for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. It's Sweetfoot, the name of one of Dunk's horses, which, if you think about it, probably is not the best practice for a code name, because like I said, the whole point of a code name is it's supposed to be random and totally unrelated to the contents of the project. Don't use a name that we know is from it, that we could tell, oh, Sweetfoot, that you could pick that out of a list. We know names of characters in it, versus Red Gun, Huckleberry. These have nothing to do with Westeros. And even then, though, they change from one season to the next. I don't think Targaryen Conquest Season 1 or 2, they might have different code names. And Dunk and Egg also will probably shift code names every season. It's not one for each. Even the Lord of the Rings trilogy used code names, but they were different for all 3 movies. I mean, I remember the third one was Till Death for Glory, but the other ones were like changing seasons. But that's just useful tip if you're also hunting down information. The production code name now changed from Red Gun to Huckleberry, for whatever reason. So like I said, as of this video, I am caught up on all the Wales filming, and because of personalized stuff, plus there was a lot of filming news because it really kicked off, I fell behind. I am caught up as I have not been since Memorial Day, last weekend in May in the United States, the start of summer, when there were all those season finales for The Last of Us and Andor just ended. Mentally, I am back at the start of June. That was 2.5 months ago. I am now keeping pace with filming news because there were other bigger things we had to deal with. Nor have I been idle because, it's the 2-year anniversary of the House of the Dragon Season 2 finale. I have been scripting other videos, long-form analysis on This Is My 1 year later Season 2. A lot of it's also just going over the reaction to it. I'm right after this, I'm moving on to a week's worth of reports, hopefully, knock on wood, week's worth of reports on viewership numbers. Assessing not just House of the Dragon, but how these 2-year gaps are hurting shows, that the streaming boom has turned into a bust, that, spoilers, the point is, relatively speaking, House of the Dragon had decent viewership, even in Season 2. I mean, it increased as the season went along. Obviously, the 2-year gap didn't help. Relative to some other shows that have seen their viewership drop by half, or that have been canceled like Wheel of Time, if you're looking at the clickbaiters saying, oh no, this show's going to get canceled, if nothing else, it'll finish its run, because they weren't trying to run 7 seasons, they were trying to run 4 or 5, even if Season 3 isn't great, and I think they actually will rebound, but there is no danger of cancellation when you're looking at the viewership numbers they have. Relative to other shows are actually pretty good. So I'm going to be doing these 1 year later looks at the viewership reaction, at critics' reactions, that most critic outlets actually had a relatively even-handed, measured assessment of Season 2, because they know the effects of the strike and the studio interference and aren't just Sarah Hess eats dogs, which is the new dog whistle for the Kathleen Kennedy, I hate Kathleen Kennedy crowd. It's let's build up Sarah Hess into some villain. She is not capable of doing the thing that she... Random person, if it wasn't her, you would have gone down the list and blamed a female director or something. That's just not the reality that we see on the ground of the why the production problems happened.